Hi guys, Harry Otis here, professional trader for 20 years now. Started my career in 2005, still alive in 2026. Well, today, after 4 continuous days of pain, we had one green candle that seems to have given us a little bit of relief after this, 5% drawdown in like 1 week. Okay, and the big news is it's SpaceX. SpaceX is IPOing tomorrow, and we had some good news on the war front, and it lifted the markets. Okay, is that enough? Will it continue? Well, that's what we're going to talk about going forward. These two big subjects today. But first, we're going to talk about the technical picture. And remember, don't lose focus. The technical picture here is still bullish. Why? Okay, nothing really has broken. We haven't traded below the 50. We approached it. It felt extremely fearful, as we'll get to in the sentiment, but we never really violated anything. We're still above the 50. Everything is doing great, and nothing to worry about. There really isn't. Okay, so far, feeling and seeing are two different things. Okay, so the technical picture is still bullish. We're above the 50. The 200 sloping is a 200-day moving average is sloping upwards, and the fact that we approach the 50 means it's great. We're not very, very extended above that moving average. So perfect. Technically speaking, bullish. Okay, let's get rid of the moving averages. Sentiment, beautiful. We were 30. We were at 27, we increased to 30. Remember we said before that we dropped like 5%, but it felt like we dropped 10% because we're close to like extreme fear, okay? This is good because now it leaves a lot more room to go into the extreme greed category. And all we have to do is climb another, 22 points to get to the highs, which should not bring us to extreme greed. It might bring us to neutral. So we reach the highs by going to neutral, and then we have extended fuel here to power us up into a higher move. So it's fantastic. This is what we want to see. We want to see sentiment, technicals, and the fundamentals all line up, and it looks like it's doing so right now. Okay. However, just because that happened, we're not out of the woods yet. We're still downward sloping. We still have, this has to be continued. It has to be maintained, okay? So not out of the woods yet, although it's a good sign, and we'll talk about it going forward. Okay, but the sentiment so far, fear, neutral because we turned up today, but everything else is fear or extreme fear, okay? And the market volatility, the VIX is still in the 20s. So yeah, the put call options are still, we wiped out, let's just put it this way, we wiped out these bulls. We wiped out all these bulls, all this enthusiasm, so that's good. At least one check mark in $1 wiped out the recent call buyers, okay? So that's great. And also, in the sentiment today, it's Thursday, so we get my favorite sentiment indicator, the AAII investor sentiment. And like we said before, too many bears. Once you get the market coming down, we were saying we bet that we're going to see a lot of bears coming back into the 40, 45 range. And this is exactly what we got. So you can easily predict this sentiment because you see it playing out in the markets every day. Okay, you see it. You see the fact that there were so many bears. Look at that. 2 weeks ago, the bears were above 40. Okay, and we were basically neutral on the bullish side, which the average is 37.5. We were below average. As we were at all-time highs, we were below average in bullish sentiment and above average in bearish. You don't really see that at market tops. This is why the bears are still lingering. We have to kill them. They're still there, and it's going to take time, weeks, months. People have to really get aboard this market. This is why I still remain bullish, because there's too many bears. And here we see it. One bad week, boom, they're there, 47%. So we have to kill those bears. The sentiment is beautifully on the bullish side because of the contrarian nature of it. Okay, so we have sentiment on our side, technicals on our side still, and the fundamentals are good. We see the earnings estimates for the S&P 500 up. We saw that, a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember exactly when, but estimates have been revised upwards, earnings estimates. So, everything is on the good side. We saw jobs are holding up, nothing really crazy. Okay, so speaking of jobs, we did get a couple of macro prints today. The first important one is the PPI, Producer Price Index, and it came in at 1.1% in May, just like it did in April, although they were expecting 0.7%. So it was hot. However, the core PPI came in much lower, 0.4%. They're expecting 0.5%. So just telling you that the core PPI is lower, which means like absent the war, there's not going to be any inflation. There's not real inflation in the system. So it's purely a war move, and it's reflected in the PPI. And we saw the exact same thing in the CPI yesterday, where the headline number was high, but the core number was lower than expected. So it was colder. Okay, perfect. It just goes to show you that inflation is just temporary, and it has to do with a war, and we'll get to that going forward, okay? But we did get another macro print today on Thursday. We always get the initial claims, and it's up to 229,000 as opposed to 225. So it is going up, it's creeping up, but still within a decent range. Okay, the 3-year average, it's still low. Look at that. 5 years, still not that high. You could see it better in the 3-year average. It's not that high yet. Look, we had spikes to higher than that, 250, 260, and then it came back down. So it's trending up, but still within a decent range. So still, no problem there. So we have good macro. We have good support on the technicals. We have good sentiment, okay, meaning bad sentiment, which is great for the bulls. So everything is on our side. That's why we stay bullish, okay? So let's get to the big news of the day, SPX and war. Let's talk about the SpaceX IPO, okay? Everybody knows, everything that you see on Twitter is negative, okay? It's the biggest, it's priced high, it's too high, it's going to tank, it's way oversubscribed, it doesn't make that much money. All true. And yet it's going to go up. Tomorrow it's going to go up and probably continue to go up. Why? It's 4x oversubscribed. Okay. Now, as you read here, SpaceX's 4x oversubscription sounds impressive until you compare it to Snowflake's 120x, DoorDash's 40x, and Facebook's 20x when they made their IPO. However, size matters. Okay. And this is a 75, look, they're going to raise 75 billion. Okay. It's very tough to get 20x oversubscribed when you're at 75 billion, okay? But 4x over 75, like you'll see, 4x times 75 billion, I mean, the largest IPO ever, and it's at 4x means it's huge, okay? It's huge. And 4x oversubscribed, what you guys don't know is that, maybe you do, who knows? But when you 4x oversubscribed and all the institutions are jumping upon themselves, over themselves to be part of it, okay, and it's going to be part of the S&P 500 index fund, most dealers, if it's 4x, they're going to get just 25% of their allocation. They wanted 100%, so they're only going to get 25%. So that means they're going to have to go out in the market and buy back in the market 75% of the allocation. And they want it. They want to be fully subscribed. They want to be fully in, because it's going to be part of the index. So they're going to have to. They have to buy. You're going to see buying pressure. That's why everybody's negative on it. However, I still think it goes up, and we might get another tomorrow. We might get the market going up because of SPX. Not SPS, SpaceX, because of SpaceX, SPCX. I'm going to make that slip multiple times in the future. Okay, SPX instead of SPCX. Okay, so this is very positive. I don't know how long that buying lasts. It could last 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, depending on how hungry retail is. But I think BlackRock wants 30% of it. It's like huge amount of institutional buying coming in. So even though it might be negative longer term, there's going to be a short-term boost to it. Okay, and that's guaranteed. Just buy it. You're going to make some money. That's my view. Okay, so SpaceX is, I think, what's lifting these markets. And we also had, which is much more important to me, is that Trump claims the Iran war settled, subject to finalization, expect signing in the next few days. Yes, he's said this 1,000 times before. And look, crude oil falls 4% after Trump says this. Okay, so let's go to the Trump trade. SpaceX, it's going to be positive. That's the bottom line, because institutions have to buy. Okay, because it's oversubscribed. They didn't get their full allotment. Okay, now the war. First thing we look at the war is oil. Okay. After the news came out, boom, oil tanks is down 6%. Okay, this is a bearish engulfing candle if you want to look at that. But really, it's within this choppy range, trending downward. Okay, and if we do get some kind of deal, boom, it's going to really break. Okay, so that's what I'm looking forward to. Oil going down. And because oil went down, it's all related. Oil, market, and what we'll see soon is gold. Oil down means gold up. Okay, and we saw in yesterday's video, we explained how gold is down a lot for the past 3 days, but interest rates are not. Okay, interest rate expectations were not. If you look at the US 10-year, as we did yesterday, look, it was flat for the first 3 days and down big today. Everything related. Okay, because when there's no inflation, if the war is over, interest rates are not going to be up. Okay, so this move here, that's why I suspect that the gold down move here is based on pure fear by gold market participants who tend to be very, very skittish, very, very emotional traders. Okay, that's where you have exaggerated move to the downside. this is positive. I don't know if it continues. It all depends on the war and the market, because market up, oil down, gold up is the trade. Okay, that's the unwinding of the war trade. Okay, so it remains to be seen. We're not out of the woods yet. This might take some time. I'm telling you, this looks good. This is what we call railroad tracks. Down big, up big. It would have been nice if it was bearish engulfing, if we went much higher on gold, but we don't know. Okay, we just don't know. I just know that it is very, very, this is capitulation action. You don't know how it ends. Okay, but 100% capitulation action. However, in SPY, we didn't get capitulation. We didn't get extremes. We went to here, 27. We're at fear. We never went to extreme fear. We never really tested a gap down open with massive amounts of buying like we did here. This was gap down open, one more buying push, and then boom, gap up, and then you don't see the bottom after that. So this, we didn't get that yet, but we don't need to have it, okay? The fear was enough. We went to the border of extreme fear and fear, which in a bull market, a 5% drop, that's pretty good. That's pretty strong. That's a very, very strong bull market. We said this is a very strong bull market. So this downturn might be over, but even if it's not, even if it is, if it's over, that's great. It's a very strong bull market. Even if it's not and it goes lower, it's still a strong bull market. It really has to break down to these levels before anything is nullified. Okay, and like we said, we're expecting it to, hopefully, it could have touched the breakout point of 700. If it doesn't, it's even more bullish. Okay, even more bullish. So you have this on gold. We're in the midst of the capitulation. I've been buying. You know, I've been buying for the past, I mentioned it here, the first move down. And like we said, forget moving averages on gold. Okay, it's going to trade below the 200 for a while before ripping higher. It's going to look very, very bad before ripping higher. You don't know when the ending is. You just have to be in the middle buying when you don't want to. Hold your nose and buying. I know it's terrible, but that's the only thing that really, really wins and gets that washout. Okay, so that's it, guys. Huge SpaceX coming tomorrow. We'll see how that is, guys. I think it's gonna be bid, no matter all the doomsayers say. It's gonna be bid for maybe a couple of days. Who knows? If the war is truly over and there is a peace, everything gets unwound. You're gonna see market up. You're gonna see gold up. All of this is gonna be unwound, and you're gonna see emotional buying too. And U.S. oil will be down big over time. Okay, so let's see what happens tomorrow, Friday, big day, SpaceX. Looking forward to it. Later, guys.